running from that pole. Yeah, I cook it up cause I'm a hero in my own town. Whoa, we just running on our own now. Whoa, all these digits on my phone now. Working through the late night, that's just how it goes down. Oh wow, put in work, I guess we work it out. Almost summer and the money almost running out. All this running up and down, it's getting funny now. I do it for myself and all you ever did was run your mouth. Yeah, we at the spot, they be stunning now. They don't see the bigger picture, we be cutting now. All I'm saying is the man that I'm becoming, he gon' take the new edition and they twist it like a plumber now. Yeah, I'm out here watching all these bowling ones. Yeah, and they be thinking about my home runs. Oh, how they gon' catch me when I'm all around. Oh, I can't see why I didn't call it out. I come and go like a round. They don't want the two be going nah. I'm coming back with the money in the bag. The rubies in my lab, yeah, I'm running with the cash. I'm coming go like a round. Putting in the work like I'm way behind. Still trapping on the low, lurking in the mold like I'm running from the pole, yeah.
Why don't you get it by now? Tell me what you learned in grade school. Give it to me like you want it. Did you forget that golden rule? Why is our love one-sided? It should really be give and take. Fill you up and leave me empty. Baby, was that my mistake? Covering these feelings, going through changes. I'm just so mad right now, I can't even think straight. So I'ma just tweet it and delete it, knowing you won't read it before we get too far away. I need to clear my mind. I'd rather just tweet it and delete it before we cross the line and we reach a point we can't rewind. Rewind. Tell me what choice I have now. I just wanna get it right with you. But if we try to talk about it, our history says we'll just argue. And I know you're gonna act.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday, Junior.
Good morning and welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth and not care who doesn't like it. It is Friday, Junior, Friday Eve, Thursday, May 20th, 2021. Thanks so much for joining us. Good morning to everyone across all of the platforms where you're watching, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, wherever you are. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. If you're listening to the podcast after the fact, you too can hit the like, share, and subscribe button and support the show. James, DJ Exclusive, how's it going, man?
Pretty good, brother. How about yourself, man?
It's going good, man. You looking forward to the party tomorrow night, the patron party? We have it's right around the corner, and like last time literally. we're gonna be like last time it was dope, man. And I can't stress enough how cool it is that we have so many viewers of this show who are international, who just, you know, it's one thing to just know that they're in the chat rooms, but at the patron parties, you're in the Zoom with us as we're talking and we're having conversations about the issues, and then after a while we just shut it down and turn it over to you and let you do your thing until like whatever time you get. How do you do that, by the way? Because you're actually, I mean, I know we're in the same age, but we were in college together, but I just can't stay awake that long. I just can't do it no more.
Man, so most times I'm a night owl anyway, so I'm like already up around that time anyway, so I don't know. Okay. I just be going. But then when I start getting a little drink in me, a little smoke, man, it's another story.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Well, either way it goes, the party goes on, and we have a great conversation, and it's a great community. I think the best thing about it is it's a really great community of people, and so we're looking forward to that. Tomorrow night we'll send out the links and all the times. We'll get that to you today sometime. That said, let's go ahead and talk about some things that are happening in the news. Later on in this episode, we're going to be joined by a student from Gaza. And she is going to be telling us about her experiences there. And so we're really looking forward to that interview so that she can share exactly her perspective and the losses that she has suffered, but not only her personal losses, but the losses of the Palestinian people. We'll have that interview coming up around 9 o'clock this morning, Eastern Standard Time. In the meantime, the House has approved an independent January 6th commission. The House of Representatives passed a bill that will form a 9/11 styled commission to investigate the events leading up to the January 6th insurrectionist attack. The bill passed 252 to 175, with only 35 Republicans joining all of the Democrats to create the commission. Now, the goal of the commission is to get to the root of what led up to the events that left 5 people dead, dozens injured, and breached the Capitol on January 6th. Here's a clip. I have several clips, but the first clip is of the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, as she describes the purpose of the commission and why she hoped that its passage would be bipartisan. Take a listen in.
We very strongly urge House members to support H.R. 3233, the Bipartisan National Commission to investigate the January 6th attack on the United States Capitol complex. That bill would create a 9/11 style commission to investigate the January 6th assault on the U.S. Capitol. That was a dark day in American history, one of the darkest. The January 6th attack on the United States Capitol was one of the darkest days in the history of our country. Americans deserve an objective and accurate account of what happened. As we did in the wake of 9/11, it's time to set aside partisan politics, come together as Americans in common pursuit of truth and justice.
Now, a good portion of Nancy Pelosi's speech was centered on the need for bipartisanship. And while that was to the frustration of many people like myself, because we honestly see Republicans for what they were, it didn't stop the Speaker of the House from making the appeal, trying to appeal to as many Republicans as possible, because she believed that they would be able to stand in solidarity to find out what caused and what led up to this insurrectionist attack, this terrorist attack of January 6th. Nevertheless, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell took to the Senate floor yesterday and outlined why he opposed the bill for reasons, McConnell claimed, that included accusations that the commission would not be bipartisan. And I want you to just think about that for a second. His excuse for not supporting a bipartisan commission was that he felt that it would not be bipartisan, even though it's a bipartisan commission. Take a listen in.
Now, Mr. President, on one final matter, after careful consideration, I've made the decision to oppose the House Democrats' slanted and unbalanced proposal for another commission to study the events of January the 6th. What is clear is that House Democrats have handled this proposal in partisan bad faith, going right back to the beginning. From initially offering a laughably partisan starting point to continuing to insist on various other features under the hood that are designed to centralize control over the Commission's process and its conclusions in Democratic hands.
The bipartisan committee and simultaneously make it seem as though he cares about justice. He does a good job of presenting himself as a reasonable person in his presentation, how he dresses and how he talks. But the reality of it is that he is as unreasonable as this next clip from Marjorie Taylor Greene, who reveals the true reason Republicans don't want this commission. They're fully aware that it will not only implicate them, but it would also implicate former President Donald Trump. Listen in.
It's going to be led by Trump-hating Democrats and Republicans that have no interest in revealing the real truth. They're only going to use the January 6th commission to tear down Trump's legacy, tear down and smear him if he runs for president again in 2024, and it will be used to demoralize Trump supporters and people that loved attending rallies and love the MAGA movement and love America First policies, and it will be used to demoralize them and paint them as if they're horrible people that entered the Capitol, breached the Capitol on January 6th. That's what we will see coming out of a January 6th commission. We will not see real truth revealed. We will not see real bad guys go to jail. They've already been arrested. They're already being held, some of them 23 hours a day. in solitary confinement, which is unreal. They haven't even been convicted yet. These people haven't even seen a day in court, which is completely unfair, and they're being mistreated this way. It's wrong. It is wrong. While Antifa, BLM, domestic terrorists walk the streets and continue to commit violence anytime they want to, this is an outrage, and it's completely against anything that I think should be happening in our country, and it's happening straight out of Congress and right here in Washington, D.C. I'm very upset about it.
Now, I don't know if it's because she's trying to be, operate in good faith, or because she's just not too bright. I think it's the latter, that she continuously refers to her side of the equation as the bad guys. Yesterday, we played the clip of Marjorie Taylor Greene confessing essentially that they did breach the Capitol. And so in this clip, as she's attacking the January 6th commission, she's trying to have it both ways, where she's labeling this commission as not going to get down to the truth and being unpartisan, or rather not being bipartisan. She's simultaneously saying that, well, we got the bad guys and they're in jail, but oh, by the way, they're being mistreated. Make up your mind, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Nevertheless, you would think that the people elected to lead this country would, in fact, want to get to the bottom line of the January 6th attacks in order to prevent it from happening ever again. But this isn't the case. Consider that out of all the Republicans in the House of Representatives, only 35 voted to support the commission. This upset Democratic Congressman Tim Ryan, and he let it be known in his brief clip that you're going to listen to here.
I want to thank the gentleman from New York and the other Republicans who are supporting this, and thank them for their bipartisanship. To the other 90% of our friends on the other side of the aisle, holy cow, incoherence, no idea what you're talking about. Benghazi, you guys chased the former Secretary of State all over the country, spent millions of dollars. We have people scaling the Capitol, hitting the Capitol Police with lead pipes across the head, and we can't get bipartisanship. What else has to happen in this country? Cops. This is a slap in the face to every rank and file cop in the United States. If we're going to take on China, if we're going to rebuild the country, if we're going to reverse climate change, we need two political parties in this country that are both living in reality, and you ain't one of them. I yield back to you.
Yeah, James.
What the hell, bro?
He was feeling that one, right? He was.
He really was.
I mean, but that's the point, man. The point is like these people stormed the Capitol. There's even more footage that came out yesterday and showed what he was referring to, where they had lead pipes, like they were actually beating police officers with lead pipes. And they, all of a sudden, these Republicans are like, oh, no, we don't need to investigate this. The fact of the matter is, like, had that been any other group of people, not only would we not have made it out of Washington, D.C. alive, because it would have been a bloodbath. They would have called the National Guard to gun down Black Lives Matter, or to gun down anyone who was like a leftist leaning, protester. Because look at what those guys did. I mean, people died. And they breached the Capitol. They broke windows. One dude kicked his feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk, the Speaker of the House. Her computer was stolen. And Republicans do not want to investigate this. And here's why they don't want to investigate it. Because they know that they will be implicated. Their overall ideology will be implicated. Their favorite TV shows, Fox News, Tucker Carlson, will be implicated. Their favorite YouTubers, all these guys on YouTube are doing, they will be implicated. Because this did not just happen out of thin air. It didn't, just come out of nothing. It came out of all these years of all of this propaganda, including the dead ass Rush Limbaugh, including all of his rhetoric led up to this. And now all of a sudden they want to back up and say, no, everything's fine. We don't need to investigate it, because they know full and damn well that it will implicate them and all of their buddies. Yeah. And that's why they don't want to support it. And Tim Ryan was like, y'all ain't it. This ain't it, y'all. This ain't it. that was my favorite part of the. But the one thing I disagree with them is like Democrats keep doing this thing where they insist that we have to have a healthy Republican Party. No, we don't. No, what we need to have is a replacement for the Republican Party. Let the Democratic Party be the centrist conservative. we only need to go as far right as the current Democratic Party is. Like Nancy Pelosi, she's not. They always try to scare people and say that these people are leftists and they're socialists. No, they're not. They're not. Trust me when I tell you as a socialist that they are not socialists by any measure, any degree, right? So the Democratic Party, they are only reasonable as the right side. They need to replace the Republican Party, period. And we need another party that is to the left of the Democratic Party, because the stuff that the conservatives are doing across this country, Governor Greg Abbott from Texas just signed into law yesterday a ban on abortions after 6 weeks. If a woman is pregnant and she's over 6 weeks pregnant, she can't get an abortion in the state of Texas. How many women don't even know that they're pregnant by 6 weeks? That's the type of politics and the control that these conservatives want to have. So the only thing I disagree with Tim Ryan on is the fact that they and Nancy Pelosi, they keep trying to have this idea of, oh, let's have a strong Republican Party. No, you have a strong Republican Party. You have a Republican Party that blocked Merrick Garland from getting the Supreme Court pick from Barack Obama. You have a strong enough Republican Party that blocked all of his judicial picks and then gave all those judicial picks to Donald Trump, which is why we're in the situation that we're in right now. So we don't need a strong Republican Party because they're a party of sociopaths. What we need to do is get rid of the Republican Party, let them get rid of themselves, and let the Democratic Party be as far right as this country will go. But that's asking too much, because people like Tim Ryan, while that clip was amazing, and Joe Biden always calling for bipartisanship, and Nancy Pelosi, they're more interested in being friends with these people than actually pushing back against what these people are doing to the rest of this country. That said, that brings me to the person who, quite frankly, I believe should have been the president of the United States, Bernie Sanders. As Israel continues to bombard Palestinians, the international community is increasing their calls to end the violence. Voices ranging from Pope Francis to Joe Biden, the pressure is mounting. Joe Biden is said to have spoken at least 4 times with Benjamin Netanyahu, stating that he expected a cessation in hostilities. It is being reported that Netanyahu has basically just shrugged off the request, ever determined to promote his political career at the expense of the Palestinian people. And while Joe Biden is publicly stating that he wants to see an end to the violence, the United States has once again blocked a United Nations resolution that would use the collective voices of nations all around the globe to call for a ceasefire. Yesterday, Senator Bernie Sanders, took to the floor of the Senate and made a compelling speech declaring that Palestinian lives matter. Let's take a look at that.
Therefore, be it resolved that the Senate urges an immediate ceasefire to prevent any further loss of life and further escalation of conflict in Israel and the Palestinian territories, and supports diplomatic efforts to resolve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, to uphold international law, and to protect the human rights of Israelis and Palestinians. I would also like to point out that those of us who are supporting an immediate ceasefire are certainly not alone. We join with nearly the unanimous call from the European Union, with United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, with Pope Francis, and with many others. In other words, all over the world, people are seeing the terrible tragedy that is taking place in the region, and they want an end to it as quickly as possible through a ceasefire.
Now, it's the next part of Bernie Sanders' speech that really resonated with me the most. He specifically calls out Republican Tim Scott, who released a statement stating that Tim Scott stated that he mourns the deaths of the 12 Israeli people killed during this conflict. But Senator Scott said absolutely nothing about the 200 Palestinian deaths, which included women and children. Bernie Sanders took note and called out Tim Scott for this.
Now, I happen to have read Senator Scott's resolution, and I was particularly struck by one sentence in it on page 2. And what it says, and I quote, "The Senate mourns the loss of innocent life caused by Hamas's rocket attacks," end of quote. That was on page 2. Now, I certainly agree with that. And I think every member of Congress agrees with that. The loss of 12 innocent Israeli lives is, in fact, a tragedy. But what about the loss of 227 Palestinian lives, including 64 children and 38 women? Does Senator Scott not believe that the loss of those Palestinian lives, 64 children and 38 women, among others, is not a tragedy? I believe that we should be mourning the loss of Israeli life, but we should also be mourning the loss of Palestinian lives. Or perhaps some people think that Palestinian lives don't matter. I would hope not.
That's the thing, James. Like, we've been covering this pretty extensively, and we've seen the footage, we've seen the videos, we've seen the images, and we've heard the stories. And we're getting ready to speak with a student from who's in Gaza right now, and the amount of tragedy, the amount of death, the amount of pain and suffering that's being caused. You would think that people would have at least enough human decency to recognize that there are children and women who are dying on the Palestinian side. But Tim Scott, along with so many others, it's not just Tim Scott, but he's the one who was foolish enough to he didn't make a speech about this, right? He slid this in as a statement, and he thought probably he could just enter it into the record and pacify all of his supporters without having to be held accountable for it. But little did he know that Bernie Sanders actually reads these things, and you would think that he would have enough him being Tim Scott would have enough human decency to, while you're recognizing the death, recognize the deaths of women and children. But since day one of this, the number one thing that has stood out the most to me has been the number of people who simply don't even recognize the humanity of the Palestinian people. In fact, I've had people, I'm going to be honest with you, I operate a little differently than most people, and shout out to all of our supporters who make what we do possible, because you free me up to speak, you free us up to speak exactly what we believe, how we believe it, when we believe it, with no regard for anyone's influence, anyone's financial influence, and anyone's, the only people we answer to are our supporters and our patrons. Because I've had so many colleagues in this space, several who have reached out to me upset because of our coverage. And to be quite honest with you, at the beginning of this, I just simply felt that I wasn't covering it enough. And, they kept prodding the bear, and they kept ignoring the lives of the Palestinian children and women and children who are being killed. Now, I had to reevaluate who's in my phone, right? Because some of these, you don't deserve access to me if you don't have enough humanity in you to recognize the deaths of women and children, and to be upset with our mild coverage at best, because we're reporting the information as we're getting it. And me personally, I want to connect our audience's humanity with the humanity of the people who are being killed. But I bring up our supporters because there are a lot of people who are in positions in media who cannot, in politics, very specifically in politics, who are not free to speak out about this because their paychecks depend on them making sure that their donors are satisfied and that their donors are not upset. And this is not only this issue with Palestine, this is an issue with so many other stories. I mean, we've been in positions before where we were unable to cover issues of race because the people who are writing our checks didn't want us to keep talking about race. And so there's so many people who, whether or not, I don't know if it's a financial influence, I don't know if, and I bring that up because there is a lot of money. There are a lot of right-wing dollars. AIPAC is a political lobbying organization, and they absolutely pour millions of dollars not only into communities, but they also pour it into this very specific issue. And there are people who I know have a heart for humanity, but because they are dependent on those lobbying dollars, they can't speak out about these issues. And this is no conspiracy theory. This is just a matter of fact. Why do you think why do you think Joe Biden has not firmly and unequivocally called for a cessation of the hostilities? Why do you think it is the United Nations, our representative to the United Nations, the United States of America, is blocking a Security Council resolution that would demand a cessation, a ceasefire? It's because of the influence that comes on any issue. It's not just this issue, because there are going to be people who say, oh, Ben, you're being anti-Semitic. Absolutely the hell not. We talk about this all the time in this country. Our politicians are bought and paid for. And when you are bought and paid for, you can't speak out about an issue because, well, you're taking money from the pharmaceutical industry. And of course, you're not going to stand up to big pharma. Simultaneously, or very similarly, if you're taking money from AIPAC, you're never going to speak out on behalf of Palestinian lives because they will pull their money from you. And so it is so empowering to be able to not answer to anybody but people who want us to tell the truth and not give a damn about people who want us to bite our tongue and ignore the humanity of the Palestinian people because, oh, they don't want us to talk about it. Well, I'm glad you don't want us to talk about it. But what I'm happy the most about is that you don't have any impact on what we do on this show. And you will never have any impact on what we do on this show. And we will speak out truth to power. And the more you tell us not to talk about it, we're more prone to talk about it just because you asked us not to. That said, James, take us to a quick break. When we come back, we are going to be joined with an interview with a student from Gaza, and she is going to tell what has happened to her family, and the Palestinian people in this constant bombardment from the right wing, the far right wing fascistic government of Benjamin Netanyahu. There's no question about who that monster is and why we have to speak truth to power, even if they don't like it. More like it or not, after this.
Good morning again, everyone. Hope you are enjoying the show thus far. Good morning, Mom and Daddy. Good morning, Sensation. Excuse me. While we're at it, we are going to go ahead and get these patrons read off. We have quite a few today from yesterday, and we appreciate y'all so much. So here we go. Oh, excuse me. All right. We have new patrons. We have Red Messiah, Leslie K, who increased their pledge. Leslie, we appreciate you. We have Tanya M, Beverly S, new Twitch subscribers. We have Leo Sren, who subscribed with Prime. Hollywood 2000, who subscribed with Prime. Bike Gator, who subscribed for Prime for 2 months and added comments solidarity with McDonald's workers. Shout out to that. Sammy Lynn, the Kind Dragon, subscribed for 2 months. Mimosa Dragon subscribed for 4 months and also subscribed for 3 months in advance. Shout out to Mimosa Dragon. We see you. Gambling Blues subscribed for 5 months. And Pray Nay 1976, she back again. I see you back again. Subscribed for 7 months with Prime. We appreciate all the love, y'all, the support. Make sure that if you want to as well, too, you can become a Patreon member as well. Like it or not, patreon.com/like it or not, patreon.com/like it or not, y'all. Make sure that you go join, support, and also make sure that you have your face in the place tomorrow night as we have one of our patron parties. It's about to go down, y'all. Make sure that you are there. Let's get into this good old non-copyright music.
She pull up, hop out, then she swerve. Do your two-step, your little cat won't make it work. Make it work, do your dance, make it work. Strike a pose.
And shout out to, let me see here, get some of these super chats.
Pull up, hop out, then I swerve.
Highlight a comment from Twitch. Jam Tune, good morning, Ben. We need to get dollars out of politics like yesterday. Shout out to EH, who sent a couple of super chats, and Dimitri, who says, don't poke the bear. Always poke the bear. Get for both. That's it. You don't want to do that. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Fairy Girl, good morning. Mark S, good morning. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in, watching us on Twitch, Facebook, IG, wherever you watching from, YouTube, y'all. We appreciate the love, y'all. Make sure that you follow Like It or Not Show on Instagram and Facebook. Like It or Not Show on Instagram and Facebook.
Make it work, Jill dance, make it work, strike a pose. Make it work, Jill dance, make it work, strike a pose. I pull up, hop out, then I swerve. two-step, my little catwalk make it work.
Shout out Heath Bolden, who sent 150 stars on Facebook. Heath, we appreciate you.
Make it work. Strike a pose, girl. Strike a pose, girl. I can spend it on you, freeze you up, you cold, girl. Put you in positions, curling up your toes, girl. Even when I'm gone, I only want you close, girl. If I win, she win. We count the minutes together. If it's real, it's real. This'll be forever. If it's hot or cold, get through any weather. If it's all I know, together we're better. She pull up, I thought then she swerved.
No human is thank you for your super chat.
Make it work,
I like that name, man. That's kind of dope name. Nat A, good morning.
Make it work, strike a pose. I pull up, hop out, then I swerve. Do my two-step, my little catwalk, make it work.
Anna Bisky, thank you for your super chat. Good morning.
Make it work, make it work, strike a pose.
Laura, good morning, good morning. Lisa, good morning.
Wanna get lost? Pour it down, just pour it down. You stay home and be nice. Boy, I will be gone all night.
Nick, good morning, good morning. Shout out Chuck Diesel, one of our hardest working moderators. Shout out to Jam Tuned as well, too, on Twitch. We appreciate you. Alicia, good morning. Nikki, I know you in there. Good morning, too. Six Dragon Daddy 9, good morning. Shout out to Ruthless Dragon. Thank you for your super chat who says good morning. Good morning to you.
I stay high when bullets fly.
Justice Draconis, what's going on, my favorite person?
I can't wait till it's over. I can't wait till it's ends.
Hey, make sure that you are at the patron party, and all my patrons that are going to be there, make sure that you invite a friend so they can invite a friend so we can go ahead and crash Zoom tomorrow night, all right? Let's do that. Let's make that happen. Purple Rain Hearts, good morning. Good morning, Mara. All right, y'all, welcome back to the screen. Benjamin Dixon.
Welcome back to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth and not care who doesn't like it. Joining me now is Nora Al-Shair. She is a pre-med student from Gaza who, prior to COVID-19, was studying at Washington and Lee University in Virginia in hopes of creating a cancer treatment infrastructure for Palestinians who are not permitted in Israeli hospitals. Nora, thank you so much for joining us. First and foremost, how are you, and are you currently in safe conditions right now? Because you're literally in the middle of everything that's happening.
Right. Thank you for having me. So basically, I can't just give you an answer for if I'm safe or not, because that's just not a thing here. Like, there is literally not a place I can go to and feel safe there. I'm in my house and I'm ready to be bombed at any second, like literally any second. In the house.
Wow. And sitting over here where we are, we can't even imagine what you and the Palestinian people are going through. I listened to one of your interviews that you did yesterday, and you've been very vocal about what's going on. Could you tell us a little bit about the humanity or the inhumanity of it all? We see pictures, we are seeing the videos, and we're spreading as much information as we can. But just tell us about the conditions there, the things that we may not be able to capture in videos and the things that we share on social media.
Right. So first, it is very important to note that what is happening currently is not new. And it's not that just some sort of fight that, I don't know, Hamas started by sending rockets, like all the headlines have been trying to make people, especially like readers in the West, believe. What's been happening is a military occupation that started in 1948, and then talking about Gaza specifically, like what I lived here. A blockade was imposed on the Strip in 2007. Since then, the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip were not having, we are not having our basic human rights saved. Israel is limiting our food. They're putting us in a literal diet. They are controlling the amount of food that comes into the Strip. Most of our water is poisoned. Electricity is so limited. Like in our good days, we had 8 to 12 hours of electricity. Right now, like during the aggression, it's like mostly 3 to 4 hours. Why? Obviously, also because of the blockade, because we can't get anything into the Strip except for through the Israeli border, except for when the Israeli government allows it. And right now, they just decided that they're closing the border because of the aggression that they're doing on us. So they're not allowing fuel. They're not even allowing the humanitarian aid to come into the Strip. So yeah, so this is a story of a blockade that's been imposed for like around 13 years now. And now it's like our good days are miserable, but now it's much worse. So yeah, so now we're just, we don't have, as I said, like we don't have any bomb shelters in the Strip. So we only seek safety in our houses because that's the safest we can think of. We know we can't leave our houses because that's risky, but that doesn't mean that staying in our house makes it any less risky. Yeah, bombings are happening. Like we really don't know where they're going. Like it's all indiscriminate. They can like hit our house any second. So that's what's happening. And where there's like a more lack of food currently than it was before, more lack of water, and we're in the third wave of a pandemic. That's also not being worried about right now.
Right. I can't imagine. I mean, we just heard a bomb in the background just now. And I mean, we can't here in the United States. We have no idea. We have no way of even understanding what you all are going through, or even what it takes to be able to talk to us right now as bombs go off around you. And it's not to romanticize what you're going through, but it is an unbelievable amount of courage that you have to even have this conversation with us with bombs dropping in the background. There are a lot of people here in the United States who support, and there has been a change in the narrative here in the United States. There are so many people who are able to speak out now, unlike years before. From your perspective, and I know your conditions are you are currently, we hear it in the background, the bombs in the background. Has that change in support, has that been felt? And do you feel like it has a chance of making a difference, not only in the current bombings that are going on, but in the general narrative? Because you put it in a historical perspective, this has been going on for some time. Is that narrative cutting through from your perspective there?
Right. So we are feeling some change of narrative. We are seeing thousands of people protesting around the world and in the States, like big numbers that we're not imagining. Like if you told me a year from now that, I don't know, like what was it, 30,000 people showing up in Brooklyn, New York, I would not have believed that. But yeah, so we're seeing the support, and I think it's mostly thanks to the Black Lives Matter protests before that, because people are starting to understand that there is some injustice going on around the world, you know? And then after that, because of the social media, like social media is helping us amplify our voices, and we're finally able to share our voices. I share like the injustice, like literally just sharing videos, like documenting what's happening, and it's seen using hashtags. But actually at the same time, most of our posts are actually being censored. Our hashtag has been removed from Facebook and Instagram before, and what we post is censored. It's hidden from people. So that's a different story. But overall, we see that people are starting to understand that there is some sort of injustice going on in Palestine, and we do see it. We actually do share it with friends, so that, like, you know, it's refreshing to see that. It's refreshing to find it, because, you know, I've lived through like the last aggressions, you know, in 2008, 2012, 2014. And I'm someone who's always like been passionate about learning English, and also been interested in the West. So I was reading news during war times, or like aggression times and attacks on the Gaza Strip. And I was always reading on the news how, I don't know, 2,000 Palestinians died, and on the other side, a few Israelis were killed by rockets leaving the Strip. So it's like twisting the narratives has always been heartbreaking. So we're finally seeing some support from the West. It is very refreshing to see, but at the same time, it hasn't changed the amount of bombings happening on the Strip, because that's controlled by governments. And everyone knows that the Biden administration decided to support the Israeli government all what they're doing, killing children under the guise of self-defense. That self-defense is killing children. That self-defense is killing women. That self-defense killed my pregnant cousin along with her child. So that's not a self-defense. And people have got to pressure the government to stop funding the Israeli military under that guise of self-defense. That's an old story now. A state that has one of the greatest militaries in the world cannot be possibly defending themselves against an unarmed population. That just does not make sense. It shouldn't make sense. So yeah, so
Absolutely.
protesting are great. They are refreshing, but more action needs to be taken. Also, people have got to boycott Israeli products. I've got to boycott all the companies that decide to be complicit and fund the Israeli military. People need to do more for the Palestinian right. People also need to stop shying away from calling what's happening on the Palestinians what it is, from calling what's happening on the Gaza Strip a genocide, from calling the system that Israel has been imposing on the Palestinians an apartheid system. People have got to stop shying away from that. People need to call for what it is, that it can be solved.
Yeah. I am, you mentioned briefly there about your cousin, and to whatever extent you're able to speak about it, could you tell us that, because you were right next door from the article that I read, tell us about what happened to your cousin and how that is just like one example of that story being repeated over and over again throughout this bombing.
Right. So yeah. So as I said, we're staying in our houses, trying to seek safety where there is no safety. And we kind of like since we were children, we were bombed by F-16s, that we kind of like know the sound of their the bombings coming from that type of air forces. It's sad, but we kind of like made some sort of algorithm, like depending on how loud the bomb is, we know how close it is. Like this is our street loud, like this is our same street loud, and this is our same neighborhood loud, So, so in the first day raid, when Ramadan was over, we heard a bombing that was our neighborhood bombing using F-16. And we knew like somebody we deeply cared about. Obviously I care about all the people in the Gaza Strip, but like, that's, that's my neighborhood. So we knew it was somebody we deeply cared about that might've been killed with that bomb. But we didn't know until, like we have to wait for the news to say who it was. And then 15 minutes later, we also heard another, like 2 strikes at once at another very close place as well. Like at that time, we're actually like, we're all like, sitting at one room in my house, because as we do for most of the time of the attacks, that like we're all together, like if anything happens, we just die together because we don't want to grieve over one another. Anyway, so we heard the other bombing and we knew it was also close. The news said things about my best friend's last name. I didn't know that she also like lives in my neighborhood. So I started freaking out. But then I learned like we had to call them and stuff. And we learned like later, after all the psychological war, that my best friend made it, her cousins didn't. And my cousin, who was the wife of her cousin's wife, is in the ICU, still in critical condition. And then that first house was bombed, killed my pregnant cousin with her child. Like they just posted pictures of them like in literal pieces. And they know who they were. Like they were obviously unrecognizable, but they know who they were, like, for a part of their face and, where they live and all that. So we didn't even get a chance to go to the hospital, see them for the last time, or give them any sort of funeral they deserved whatsoever, because we just are not able to leave our houses.
Nora, again, I want to thank you for even sharing this with us, and doing this live. And it's our listeners can literally, we heard the bombs in the background, and we're going to keep doing what we can on this side of the equation. I do know that the narrative is changing here, but like you said, narrative changes don't stop the bombs from dropping. Governments do. And so we have been calling on Joe Biden, using all of our relationships and the audiences to call on Joe Biden to see the humanity of the Palestinian people and what you all are going through right now, even as we're doing this interview. I just, we're going to pray blessings and peace on all of you. But while we're praying, we're also going to be fighting on this side. We're going to be fighting over here on your behalf, because every single one of your lives matter to us. Even though for years there's been nothing but silence from America and complicity with the Israeli treatment of the Palestinian people. But there is something that's changing here, and we just want to encourage you as well as your family. And I know I don't know what else to say. I want to tell you to be as safe as you can, but I think the best thing that we can do instead of saying that is to yell at our politicians to help make it a reality. So thank you so much for joining us this morning, and we hope that we can speak with you again when this is all over, and we'll do what we can to expedite it. Why don't you get a last word in there before we go?
Yes, thank you. I just want to add the last thing that, I mentioned the F-16s that we were hearing since we were children, but right now we're also hearing other air forces. We're hearing the F-35s, which are American, which have different sounds. These are new, so we haven't set an algorithm for them yet. We don't know, they make different sounds. So what I'm trying to say is that they are using other weapons, other extremely powerful weapons on us, and Israel had no business using such powerful weapons on an unarmed population, except that they are actually literally testing their weapons that they produce, the weapons that they import on us. This could not have been more dehumanizing. This could not be more dehumanizing, because they use the footage of what they do to, as a marketing technique. These are weapons that were used on the ground. It literally is what it is. And this is killing people. This is killing families. And blaming one group of resistance, blaming what a group decided, what a group in the Strip decided to do as a form of resistance for killing these many children, for killing these many families is just an old story now. It should be an old story now, and people have got to stop believing that and look at what's happening for what it actually is happening.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We are going to keep spreading the message and keep pounding the pavement with the message to our politicians that Palestinian lives absolutely matter. Thank you, Nora. And we appreciate you. We appreciate you. And we are praying for your safety, but we are going to fight for safety. We're not just going to talk about it. We're going to fight over here. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, there's so many more stories that we have to cover, more like it or not, after this.
Thank you so much, Noah, for coming on the show today, y'all. Make sure that you follow Like It or Not on Instagram and Facebook. Like It or Not Show on Instagram and Facebook, man. Woo!
What you want from me? What you want from me? Tell me what it is, don't tell me what it ain't. They try to throw salt, it just made the pressure raise. Going through a phase, gotta get myself out it. Don't talk about it, boy, they said you gotta be about it. So I be trying to face the world head on. Front seat riding, cruising down the meadows. Pedal to the meadow, cool breeze blowing down the windows. Calm trees, blowing trees, get that boy some hedgeroom. On the interstate in traffic, but I swerve out. So what's the moves for the night, what's the word?
Make sure that you follow the new YouTube channel. Make sure that you follow the new YouTube channel, y'all. Like It or Not Show, tinyurl.com/Like It or Not Show. That will take you directly to the new YouTube channel, so that make sure you can subscribe, turn those notifications, and don't forget, by June, we will be transferring everything to that channel, so you want to make sure that you go subscribe as soon as possible, y'all. Let's get it.
All these girls showing up, but I don't give a fuck, cause you the one I want, girl, you the one I want. Girl, you the one I want.
I could really use a change of scenery. Yeah, everybody's smoking.
I think this was needed right now. I definitely need to hear
it. But I'm still fly. I know. I'm still fly. Let's go. It could all be worse. I could be a hater like you. It could all be worse. Clothes to make the man, but that poison's gonna kill you. From the inside out, so right now, say it with your chest now, say it with your chest now. I'm young, I'm free, can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to ride it out. It's my time, it's my time, it's my time to ride it. I'm young, I'm free, can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to ride it out. It's my time, it's my time, it's my time to ride it out. It's your time, oh. Cheers to all the haters, cause you proved to me that rising to the top was my destiny. And you can see whatever from behind me, but I'm still fly, I know. I'm still fly, let's go. It can all be words, I could be like you. It could all be words. Choose to make the man, but that poison's gonna kill you. From the inside out, it's time to say it with your chest now, say it with your chest now.
Whew, man. James, DJ exclusive, man. Like, what do you even say? What can you even say? Like, we heard 2 bombs drop in the middle of the interview. I will say this: that sister strong as hell.
Yeah.
Like, and I guess again, I don't want to say that in the sense of like romanticizing the heroism, because it should not be happening. But we honestly, literally cannot even imagine at all whatsoever what that life is like.
Right.
And for the longest in this country, we have been oblivious to how we are complicit with that. Like, yeah, no, those are our tax dollars. You know, those are our weapons. You know, she described the F-35, the experimental jets, you know, the $735 million arms package that Joe Biden just announced in the middle of this. Like, they didn't have enough concern. No, let me rephrase that. They are so used to being able to get away with what the right-wing Israeli government has been doing to the Palestinian people that they thought that they could actually get away with announcing a weapons deal in the middle of them bombing women and children. That's how, and we have also been unable to speak about this boldly in years before, right? Because in years before, anybody who would speak on behalf of the Palestinian people, they'd lose their jobs. Professors. Don't go on television thinking you're going to talk about it. You'll never be on television again. And so it's all those things here in the United States that has had a stranglehold on this conversation. And to me, I honestly, there's only one thing that matters to me. And that is human life. I don't give a damn about anybody's politics. I don't care about anybody's conception of what they deserve and what's theirs and whose is whose. And I don't care. Yeah, I mean, we know the nuances of it and people have been arguing about it for years. But the fact of the matter is that they are bombing women and children. And I'm sorry, the men's lives matter to me just as much. The father that we spoke of yesterday, Ahmed Al-Alsini, I believe was his surname. He's dead. And his daughters have to grow up without their father. So it's not just the women and children that matter. It's every single one of their lives that matter. Yeah, I care about the Israeli lives that were lost. But you're not going to draw an equivalence between the 12 lives that were lost there and the over 267 lives and the fact that the bombing is still going on, and the fact that they have been calling for a ceasefire, but because Benjamin Netanyahu needs a political advantage, he's going to keep doing it. There's an article from the Associated Press this morning that discusses how in just 1 week, Benjamin Netanyahu's political fortunes have changed. In the week that he has been carrying out these bombings, he's gone from being on the out because he could not form a coalition government to now everybody's looking at him as, as he's the one that can protect them from the big bad scary Hamas. And so he has no political incentive to actually stop this bombing because it's working for him politically. And this is why I say I don't give a damn about anybody's politics, because politics at the end of the day is just an excuse. It's just another search for power. And that's all Benjamin Netanyahu is trying to do. He's trying to get power so that he can avoid the criminal charges that he's facing, the criminal indictment that he's facing. There are literally families who have been blown into pieces because Benjamin Netanyahu has got to cover up his political ass. That's what politics will do. That's what powerful people will do. All of this is so that he can maintain enough political power to avoid the criminal indictment that he's facing. Do you even know? I mean, I was going to say, James, do the people really understand how twisted and how evil that is? But yeah, we do know, because we do it here in the United States. Mm-hmm. We went to Iraq for George W. Bush's political ambitions. We went into Afghanistan for George W. Bush's political ambitions. We're still fighting wars like a generation later because of their political ambitions.
Yep.
Right. And then when we talk about it, people generally say we lost all of those American troops because of George W. Bush, but they leave off the fact that over 500,000 Iraqis are dead because of George W. Bush. Right? How many times have we seen the leaders of these countries across the face of this planet go into war, kill indiscriminately, commit acts of genocide for their political ambitions? We have a serious problem here in this country, man. We have a serious problem on the face of this planet. And it is the fact that the powerful who have been given the authority to lead us, they have allowed that power to corrupt them so much that they don't care about a single human life so long as it is politically expedient, and so long as it can help them get reelected, so long as it can help them maintain their financial base, so long as they can get what they want. They don't care how many children they kill. Benjamin Netanyahu does not care how many children he kills, because it is a means to a political end. And that, my friend, that's what's going to destroy us as a species, man. I don't see how we get, James, how we get past this stage of human development to a place where we can actually, like you and me, we're on the same page. Like, we like to dream about the future. Like, we like to dream, science fiction and a better world. But yep. How do we possibly get there when we're being led by monsters? I don't know, man.
Like, what's it going to take? You're right. It's like, what is it going to take?
It's going to take us. It's going to take. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Because I was about to say, it's been happening through history from the Stone Ages. It's just like, what will it take? And sometimes I think we stop everything ourselves. If that makes any sense. Like, the human nature is just so messed up when it comes to that aspect. You have people that have that compassion and that humanity, but then you have those in power that just think they could control it and do whatever the hell they want to do.
Yeah, man. That's you said it, right? They are those of us. See, this. I wonder why it is that we always get the sociopaths as leaders. Right, man.
Like, for real.
like you don't get people who actually have a concern for humanity in power, because the system is built off of not having any concern for humanity. This system, you got to think about it, right? At the core of the American empire is the military industrial complex, right? And it's the fact that we spend hundreds of billions of dollars every single year creating weapons and exporting those weapons and exporting our terrorism, our own military that's carrying terrorism abroad. Like, and we're so indoctrinated in this country. Like if Rebecca was here, she would be singing, at this part, that's when people start singing, and I'm proud to be an American, right? They'll start singing the national anthem and all those kind of things. And they'll start tearing up over our troops, and they get so patriotic and they get so wrapped in their nationalism and not understanding fully what that means, that nationalism and all those songs and patriotism, man, that's billions of dollars of propaganda, but it's also billions of dollars of war being exported and people's lives being taken and killed. And it's like we're monsters, man. And I don't know that we survive this stage. I don't know that we survive the stage. Here's a flip side of it. Here's the other side of it, not the flip side. The other side of it is how do we tell? Because let me tell you something. If the roles were reversed and those were bombs dropping in my neighborhood close enough for the interviewer to hear, wouldn't nobody on the face of the planet be able to tell me how I should resist? Period. There's nobody who could tell me that my actions are improper or uncivil. How do we tell the Palestinian people how they should resist? How do we tell the Yemeni people how they should resist? How do we tell anybody who is under occupation, anybody who is facing constant bombardment, how do we lecture them on how they should behave in their resistance? Because have that happen to a white person from America, first thing they would do is pick up their guns and go out and fight and kill somebody. And yet, when we see people defending themselves, it's basically like this. The Palestinian people have a right to self-defense as well. The Yemeni people have a right to self-defense as well. The people who are on the receiving end of American empire, they have the right to resist and self-defense as well. We cannot look, and this is where the propaganda comes in. This is where the mainstream media propaganda comes in, because for generations, for decades, they always labeled the Palestinian people as people who couldn't govern themselves and as people who were terrorists. But how are you going to tell somebody whose children got killed by our bombs how they should respond to us? Because you would not be able to tell me. You wouldn't. And so this is how the conversation has been going for years. And I'm harping on this one because it's happening right now. You heard it. You heard the bombs go off in the middle of this interview. And it's going to continue until we actually win, not only win the narrative, but win political power so that we can actually stop this. But here's the answer to the question I asked James. I asked, why is it always a sociopath who get in power? You know why? It's because the people with the money, the way they make their money off of war, death, and destruction. And when you have a political and an economic system that makes its money off of war, death, destruction, and exploitation, then the people who lead that system are going to be just as sociopathic as the people who are making these weapons and making billions of dollars off of it. So we are led by monsters. I don't care how nice Joe Biden may seem. If he does not stand in this moment right now and tell Benjamin Netanyahu to stop, to stand down, then Joe Biden is a monster as well. Because you can't look at me and tell me that someone who has the ability to stop the suffering that we're seeing right now and they don't do it, you can't tell me that they're a good person. You can't. I'm not here for it. Yeah. We only have a few minutes before we go to the after party. Actually, we're already over time. I don't know if you want to read those some of those comments that we have before we take off.
Yeah, we read most of them, but I do want to read this last super chat real quick from No Human Humanist. Thank you again for another super chat. You are spot on. You are on spot. Corruption in politics are the cause of so much evil in the world. We, the non-rich people, have the same goals. Thank you for your work. No Human Humanist. Thank you. We appreciate your super chat.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all. All right, everybody. We're only going to do a few minutes in the after party. I've been up since 3:30 this morning, and I went to sleep.
Bro.
I went to sleep at 7, and slept for about 30 minutes. So so I got it in. But let's do this. Make sure that you click on, you go to patreon.com/Like It or Not to get access to the after party. For everyone in Twitch, we had a problem. Something's going on with Twitch. We're unable to send emails out. Normally we send the link out via email, but our producer David, he is going to, if he hasn't already, he's going to create a chat for members only, for the subscribers only on Twitch, and that's where he's going to post the link for the after party. We don't have a whole lot of stories to cover there, but there are a couple of things that I do want to cover over in the after party. So James, take us away. And everyone else, listen, you're more than welcome to come to the patron party tomorrow. If you can connect with the patron will give you a link. Now, we haven't done this before. If you want to come to the patron party and you're not a patron, we have a way for you to do it. But just connect with someone that you know is a patron or a Twitch subscriber. They will give you the link, and you can be their +1 and come to the patron party, where we're going to be able to hear from all of you directly. I love what happened last time. We were able to have conversations with people from the UK, from Colombia, from Australia. So we have an international audience. We want you to be there. Get the link from a patron, and you can join us at the patron party tomorrow night. We want to fill out the Zoom house. We want to have it wall to wall, bro. I want people standing up on the wall. I want it so deep tomorrow.
I like that. I want so many people in there. I told you I want to crash Zoom tomorrow night. Let's see if we can make that happen.
Let's see if we can crash Zoom tomorrow night. James, it's in your hand. Everyone else, we'll see you at the after party.
Yeah, make sure that you have your face in the place tomorrow, y'all. Patreon.com/Like It or Not. Patreon.com/Like It or Not. It is going to go down. You don't want to miss it. Like I said, I want all 500 of you that were streaming on the show today to come to the after party tomorrow. You won't be disappointed, y'all. We are going over to the after party. We appreciate you. We love you again. If you want to support the show and become a member, you can. You, yes, you, that's watching right now. You right there, yeah. You go to patreon.com/Like It or Not, patreon.com/Like It or Not, and support the show. Also get access to all our patron parties, exclusive content, all of that good stuff, man. You don't want to miss it. All right, you don't. Anyway, we out. We'll see y'all at the after party, y'all. Thank you again for tuning in and watching. Deuces, after party. Let's go.
I'ma go through just to grow through. But pay me what you owe me for, make what you've been saying about me true. Right. I need my money right now. Tell me did you stay stole out my crown? Sorry to tell you, I know my value. I'm gonna recoup it. Don't waste my loyalty, my loyalty. I let you in back then because I couldn't see. But now it's clear you ain't ever been true to me. My intuition ain't never lied, I had to leave. Handle your business, do what you think you need to do to get your revenge. But you won't break me, God as my witness. That's the point of no return, I'm on a mission.
Welcome to the after party, y'all. This is about to go down. Stay tuned. We only stand for a few minutes, but these few minutes are going to be the best few minutes that you ever had. So make sure that you stay tuned. It's the after party, y'all. Like it or not.
I'ma go through just to grow through. But pay me what you owe me for, I make what you've been saying about me true. True. Tell them I need my money right now. Probably did you stay stole out my crown?
Dang.
Sorry to tell you,
she just wanna cut up in the car, told her start it up. I don't wanna see it from your eyes unless it's party yet. Ran into my old chick, she said you ain't playing fair. Playing fair, playing fair. No, I ain't playing fair. Playing fair, playing fair. No, I ain't playing fair. Asked her why she staying there, she said she don't know. I had to ask some more, but I really had to go and put my bop on. Yeah, I get my bop on.
Hey, alright.
Good. Tell her she.
Hey, this is a bop right here though.
This ain't get your bop on. All right.
Yeah, that's a bop. I like it. I like this. Okay. Oh man. Okay. Let's. I got a couple of clips that I want us to play in the after party. And I gave the link to anybody who's left in the chat room over there. Okay. So we're gonna have a couple of people who are not patrons, but it's all good. The first clip, man. It took me a little too long to have to edit all the profanity in this clip, but I did it because I want y'all to look at this white man who this clown called the police on the police. He's at a traffic stop getting a ticket, and he tried to Karen the cops, and he called the cops supervisor. Meanwhile, he's cussing out I just want you to watch this video and just think about how complex the stupidity is. Like these dummies really thought that they were entitled enough to. Let me shut up. Watch this clip of this man trying to Karen some cops.
I'm waiting for your boss to call me. F*** off and get in your car. You're a fucking little bitch. Give me my ticket and go f*** yourself, goofball fucking faggot. F*** you. F*** off, you bitch. You're a fucking clown.
He like pushed him. So he just hit me. So.
There they go.
In 5.
Got his gun on me now. The RCMP officer has his gun on me now. Listen to him. He's hitting my fucking truck now. He's breaking my window. Holy get him over here. Get him over here. Holy help me. Help me. I won't.
Send somebody now, please. He's got a gun on my husband.
He's tripping balls. Hurry up.
Someone now.
Help me. Help me. Help me. Holy help me.
Hey, what are you doing? He didn't do anything. Send more people.
He didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything.
Shut up.
Bro, he was like, he's tripping balls, man.
Oh my God, what's it? Help me. Help me. The fuck
he was like,
deserved
every
like, bit of
Jesus. Hey, he went from hardcore to Jesus, help me, Jesus, help me, Jesus. He said, F you. I'm sorry. Listen, hey, this white man gonna come out this that, cause he's like he's tripping balls, man. Hey, listen, let me tell you something. Let me tell you. Hey, I guarantee you, if he had any sense, this white man, when he gets out of jail, he should come over here with us. We know cops have lost their mind. We know all cops are bastards. But you know what he gonna do? He gonna be like, he gonna somehow manage to rationalize in his mind why he was right in this situation. But black folks who've been complaining about cops all these years, he got a blip up. He called the cops on the cop. So on the back of his truck, he got a thin blue line, little cop flag on it with a Trump sticker right next to it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But he honestly, these morons are so crazy. They really thought that they were going to be able to like do this to a cop and get away with it. Like, bro, we can't even sit at a traffic stop quietly and not get shot. You know what I mean? The fact that this guy was able to get that far and not get shot, he should realize how much white privilege he got, bro.
Like, for real. Like, dude, you didn't get shot on scene after you pulled off and hit me like that?
Yeah.
You survived.
Hey, man, the cop went from tapping on the window, hey, man, take this ticket, man. Just leave me alone. I don't feel like this. And I don't know what part of his truck hit that man, but he came back with a gun cocked to the side like he was Snoop Dogg.
I was mad as hell. Like, no,
he came back with the Easy E pose.
with the side action. Oh, he turned it to the side. Oh my God, it's the kill shot.
Wait a minute, what movie is that? No, that's
what movie is that?
That's Date Night.
Date Night?
Oh man,
it's the kill shot. It's the kill shot.
I'm sorry. Listen, listen. I ain't pulling for the cop here. I'm not pulling for the cop here. I just love that. I love that it happened, and he bust the man's window. Right? He pulled out his little window cracker, and the guy was like, "Oh my God, he broke my window." He's tripping balls, man.
I wish Rebecca was here. Rebecca would have got that voice down back.
Oh man,
he's tripping balls, man.
And I'm proud to be with.
Proud to be in America. That's what we should have been singing during that damn video.
Oh man. This was in Canada?
Yeah, because he was calling them the
Oh, that's right.
Cops, but
Canada wait a minute.
Talking about.
Wait. This dude, wait a minute. I'm sorry, Canada. Anybody from Canada? Y'all got Trump supporters in Canada? Because I don't care if this dude was at the top side or like over there on the Alaska side of Canada. Like this dude absolutely got a Trump sticker on his truck. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. I see that. I can't change. You can't tell me otherwise.
hey, Dwayne, can you pull it up without the audio? I want everybody to look at the dog too, man. The dog was like, "Hey, y'all, why y'all doing this?" He's looking back. He's looking back at the cops, and he's like, "Y'all about to get y'all asses killed." The dog was looking at it like,
"Somebody get my sweat dryer." The dog looking like, "Hey, you know you fucked up, right?" Yeah, you fucked up, right?
Hey, he's looking at the dog. The dog looking at them like, "Y'all, I got warrants. Y'all can't be out here acting like this." You know what I mean? No, here you go. And he snatched it. Like, how? Look at it. Here you go. The dog like,
what you doing? What you doing, man? Pull this car off.
Man. What kind of asshole you got to be to make a Canadian cop act like an American cop? Like, what kind of
for real?
They done turned this guy from Andy Griffith all the way into damn near Derek Chauvin, boy. You was about to get your ass killed messing around with that Canadian cop like that. All right. One more.
And the dog is like, the dog was like, yo, that cop is right. Because the dog, when he busts out the window, the dog's not barking, not doing nothing. The dog's just chilling like.
The dog, he's like, I ain't gonna bark.
I ain't gonna bark.
I ain't catching the charge. They've been throwing me in the dog pound. I ain't got time for that shit. That's how this goddamn mind, man. Actually, Dwayne, I'm gonna drop one more clip because I'm gonna drop this one in the Slack. This next video, I didn't really want to share this video at first, and I'm gonna talk and filibuster, give you time to pull it, Dwayne. I wasn't gonna share this video, but this video is of a Donald Trump supporter, and he's talking about Trump is coming back real soon, and talking about it. It's just like, I didn't want to share the video because this guy, it looks like he needs some help. It looks like he's like, but then again, on the flip side of it is that could just be me being sympathetic to people. I'm an empathetic ass motherfucker. I feel sympathy for people. At the end of the day, this redneck motherfucker probably just will shoot me down in the streets. Just you know what I mean? So it's hard balancing being a good human being with the appropriate amount of mocking that we should give these dumbasses, because they really do believe that Donald Trump is going to come back and be president again. And that's dangerous, man. So
that's dangerous as hell.
That's dangerous, and this is why I honestly thought that first clip we looked at was a Donald Trump supporter, because he reminds me exactly of this guy. Let's take a look at this guy.
Hey everybody! Breaking news!
Oh, God.
I just saw an article. 120 United States of America generals have said that Joe Biden is not legitimate as a president. He's incompetent. You know what this means? I'm going to tell you what this means. It means Trump is coming back real soon. 120 generals do not think Biden won fairly, and it's not right, and he's incompetent. So, everybody, this is a little update. Been reading all kinds of articles. Trump has the media. Trump has the generals behind him. They're just starting to say this. They're saying this right now, so that when they take Biden out and they take him out of there and arrest him, that he's gonna probably know what's coming up for Mr. Biden. He's not my president. He's not the president of the United States of America. He's an imposter. He's a traitor. He's a dummy. He's an idiot. Mr. Biden, you're not the legitimate president if it's really you, and not James Woods or James Kerry. Big news story. 120 generals have come out and spoken against Biden. He does not have that support of the military. Military still supports Trump.
James Woods probably watched that video like, what the fuck I got to do with all this?
Don't bring me into this shit.
What the fuck? James was like, what the
fuck? I didn't even hear the James Wood part until just now. Oh my God. And so
what the hell?
It's it's like I want to laugh at the dude, but it's two things. It is, and David, you just said it. Like it's sad, right?
Yeah,
it's sad because like old boy is out of breath sitting in his F-150 because he's driving the F-150. His probably like a 95 F-150, but he's driving in it, and he's just out of breath. I'm like, bro, hey, come
back, huh? The general, 25 generals, they said they don't believe Joe Biden's legitimate. It's James Woods, I don't know, James Woods High School, maybe. What the hell are you talking about?
Oh man! And then the flip side of it is like these motherfuckers are dangerous, man. Like they will absolutely burn this country to the ground on behalf of Donald Trump, man. I don't. Oh man!
Why
so
did
it's
they
funny.
worship him so much? I just don't understand.
They want to be him, man. They want to be Donald Trump. They want to be able to grab women by the stuff and nobody say anything about it. They want to be, billionaires, even if Donald Trump is a broke billionaire, and been bankrupt like 50 dozen times. Like
right.
they want that life, and it is very, very dangerous because they worship him, and it's getting to the point where they we saw what happened on January 6th. All right, let's do this. So somebody in the chat room said his chin looked like a butt. They wondered if they can make his chin clap.
Go away. Get out, Miss Nuri. Go home.
This is horrible. It's horrible. Okay, I'm so sorry. We've had Jesse on the line for a minute.
Yeah.
Jesse, you're on the air. What's on your mind? Hey, Jesse. Doing good,
Jesse.
man. Looking like new money in there out there. What's going on? Where you calling us from?
I am in Oregon.
Okay. All right. Oregon in the house. What's on your mind, brother?
I'm originally from upstate New York, just so y'all know, but I'm out here in white country now.
I didn't want to say it. I would. I was say you got a little too much melanin to be out. No, I'm joking.
Man, listen. It's crazy out here. I'd be like, oh, there's a black person. I'd be looking at black people around here, like white people look at black people. Like, there's a black person. What's he doing?
Where they come from? Oh man. Hey man,
it's too much out here. But
what's on your mind, bro?
But yeah, so so I just put y'all up because first of all, I wanted to say, I appreciate y'all and I appreciate, what you're doing. Like, thanks, Ben, man. The first time that I seen your program outside of, like, after I seen you on TYT, and then, I ended up following your channel. The first time that I started watching you, y'all were on there talking about, what's his face in a tracksuit? Al Sharpton in a tracksuit. I don't know if you know that, but y'all just had.
Oh man, Al Sharpton. Yeah, we were talking about the. We were talking about the pre. What's that gastro bypass surgery? Al Sharpton. Yeah.
Man. But yeah, so I've been keeping tabs on you and just, and watching your show and stuff. And, I appreciate it. So, but yeah, so I wanted to just kind of let y'all know, like, so I got out of the Air Force in 2018 and, so I did 12 years and I got to say, like once like the 2016 election started rolling around, like I grew up with my white mom and, mostly white friends, and being the color that I am, it's kind of like, I lived my life kind of like that, just kind of light skin, whatever else. And, that started really making me feel like a minority because, when Donald Trump started saying the shit that he was saying, it became something like, like I would be seeing people that I thought were good people, but then they're like, oh yeah, well, we need to watch out for these immigrants. Like, what?
Yeah.
But, and that was, and at that time, my surroundings were Air Force people, you know what I mean? So that was, that was like like I've been trying to like get educated constantly, and constantly evolve and recognize, first of all, that the Democratic Party is essentially right wing in other countries, and so right wing is just like straight up extremists.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, it's something that I recognize over time and just kind of developing. And, I hope more people start to realize that, I think as a collective society, we tend to just people that we know and then be like, all right, whatever they do is gospel. And it's like,
yeah,
man, but it's, it's just, I think it's just an important thing for people to, kind of understand that, continuing to evolve and think outside of what you learned and unlearn it and relearn it in the context of being like, oh, well, that's kind of jacked up that we dropped a bomb, on Japan, and like just simple things like that. But, but yeah, so and I also wanted to say, growing up the way I am and certainly since 2016 election time, I realized what I was doing was, kind of slipping into that, good one category where it's like, being around white people, it's like I'm continuously like trying to actively avoid stereotypes because it's like, oh, I want to be the good one. And, in that way to like trying to change people's minds. But my old racist from the Air Force, after he retired and I was out, after the George Floyd thing happened, I saw him post something about, let's see who's not scared to say that they support the police. And it was like, it's very obvious, that's where I learned that, number one, just do you. And number two, your show and other shows like it, where it's like, having Black voices and, having that collective journey and getting the minority voices out there to understand, like, we don't need to fit into a category, y'all may like me, and you may think of me as the good one or a good one, but it's just one you're paying attention to. So, but yeah, so that's what I wanted to say. And, so I do appreciate y'all and, thanks for doing what y'all doing.
Hey man, appreciate the call.
We appreciate you, sir. Yeah,
man.
And thank you for your service,
All right.
Jesse, as well too. And Rebecca said, Jesse, how tall are you?
I knew that was coming.
6'4".
Oh, 6'4", Rebecca.
Just right.
But my girlfriend inside is 5'4".
Okay, look, there you go. Good job.
He said, "What you ain't gonna do." What you ain't gonna do is mess up what he got going on with his 5'4" girlfriend.
Rebecca trying to get trouble out here. Stand strong.
Hey man, Jesse, we appreciate the call, brother.
Hey, thanks, Jesse, so much,
All
sir.
right. Y'all
take care, man.
Peace.
Y'all, I do. Rebecca showed up in the chat room. Rebecca ain't been here all damn day.
Hey,
Rebecca ain't been in the show.
I said, Rebecca, girl, you need to pull up in the chat. You need to pull up right now, Shawty. I said, Rebecca.
Oh man,
I said, girl, where you at?
And he's 6'4". Okay, Rebecca. She said that's what she said. He's 6'4". Anyway, no, we appreciate that. That's a great thing, man. That's hilarious. I got one more clip I want us to play because I'm not gonna labor on that point anymore because his girlfriend probably watching him doing the interview and she probably watching right now.
Right.
So we ain't violating nothing.
Hey,
we ain't getting nobody. No, Jesse a good man. He's a good, faithful man.
Right.
He let it be known real quick.
But my 5'4" girlfriend in the house right now who's watching the interview, he has a knife over my shoulder right now.
You see how fast the black side came out when look, y'all ain't about to get me in trouble. Well, no, I'm gonna shut that down real fast.
He said, listen, I gotta go back inside my house, which I'm not about to do. Oh man, y'all are wild. Okay, one last clip. This last clip, I'm saving it for last. Now listen. Anyway, it's a little young black boy who's singing the national anthem. Now, I wish he would have been singing something else because, we know the problems with the national anthem, especially that third verse. But this little boy This little boy was singing. Let's play it.
Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the guns bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave?
You better sing, boy.
Oh, the land of the free and the house of the
All right, little man, you better sing that.
That boy.
Somebody singing and they hit the squinty eye or the like take a shit face. You know they doing something.
Hey, all of us in the background like. That boy, hey, Nick said. Nick in the chat room said somebody teach that poor boy a new song. That's why I didn't play it in the main show because I don't stand for the national anthem. I don't stand for that. But that boy sang. I want somebody to teach that boy, say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. Let him sing that or something. But that little boy got a voice on him. He got a bright future.
Right.
Get him on here like thing, but he can't come sing Star Spangled Banner anyway. I'm sorry. I'm like, yeah, you can come on air, but you gotta get the whole other song.
You gotta sing song, brother. Little man, you gotta sing that song, little man.
I mean, I don't even like this song, but at least come sing "We Shall Overcome" or something. But anyway,
look, we got to get Laura Estrada. Laura, I think, called us on Monday. I think it was. She's an opera singer. She said in the chat.
Yeah. No,
all right, Laura.
And let me just give you information on it. He's a third grader. His name is Decory Johnson, and he's from Banks Elementary School. That's a third grade boy singing like that. And I know you for those of you who didn't see it, and you may be listening to the podcast, you know he's black because he spelled his name Decory, bro, DCOREY. His mama must have went to high school with me because you know how they got real creative with them names back around 2000. All them babies that were born, Aaron. Anyway, that's all I got.
Freaknik babies.
The Black College reunion baby.
The Freaknik BCR babies. What's the other one? What's the other weekend that was in like Texas?
Bike
week, Kappa week,
Black Bike Week over in Virginia. Yeah. But actually, no, that baby too young. He's 8 now, so I guess he would be 2012. So nah, his mama ain't go to high school with me. His mama went to high school, just graduated high school. Anyway, I digress. Sorry. But the boy can sing. The boy can sing. No shekels. Hey, y'all run that man some shekels, man. Run that boy some coins. Buy this Cash App so he can learn a new song. Somebody said, what's wrong with the third verse? The third verse of the Star Spangled Banner actually endorses slavery. Third verse. I'll give it to you real quick. The national anthem. And
they ended up apparently taking it out, and like they only teach us the first and the second verse.
They usually stay away from anything but the first verse. And I'm trying to get the exact language of it. But anyway, you can Google it. I didn't have that part prepared, but also just the general the endorsement of this American empire and all the things that we do abroad. Like I ain't got no problem being American. I just have a serious problem with what America does. So, we ain't gonna put that on that little boy. We're gonna put that on that little third grader. Let that third grader live. Let that boy sing his little song. He'll learn somewhere in about this is about the year. first time I had my real first serious run-in with racism as a student was 3rd grade. So
wow,
he'll probably find out soon enough. Anyway, that's all I got, James.
That's funny, Ben, because mine happened in kindergarten. Like, because for some reason, and my mom will tell you this story too. The white girls in the class used to love me for some reason in kindergarten. So every time I come in class, they'll kiss me on the cheek, do everything. So I guess it got so bad that the teacher called my mom and just like, hey, we wanted to talk to you about James. He's not in trouble or anything, but the girls in the class, they kiss him a lot. They come kiss him. And, you know, I'm like, my mom's like, okay, what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that? Right.
But she was like, it's the white girls. And, you know, they have white fathers. So we just don't want him getting in trouble or anything happening. Yeah, when she told me that like years after, I'm like, oh, what? They really called you up to the office for that?
Wow. That's wild. Actually, now you're reminding me of, like, it wasn't kindergarten for me. It was 1st grade. It was 1st grade because that's when the principal lined up all the little black boys who were we used to hang out together on the playground, and they lined us up and called us a gang, and they paddled all of us. It was nothing but black boys getting paddled by this white principal in the 1st grade. Yep. So there you go. It happens.
And they called us a gang. Terrible.
They called us a gang in 1st grade. This is the 3rd stanza of the national anthem. And this is the part that is, they say, their blood, a home and a country should leave us no more. Their blood has washed out their foul footsteps pollution. And then this is the line right here. No refuge could save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. And I'm like, okay, that's what we singing every time we sing the national anthem. So anyway, that's all I got. James, whatever you want to do at this point, man, give the people some music, and we will be back tomorrow for our Friday show. And Rebecca will be back tomorrow with more shenanigans and looking for more people who are over the height of 6'3". I didn't have to throw that girl under the bus. Is she in the chat room still?
You ain't shit, man.
More likely than not, tomorrow morning. I'm out of here, James. We love you, Rebecca.
Yo, I can't stand y'all. We thank y'all again for tuning in today. Yeah, the morning show, the after party was cut short today. Hey, you know what it is? It's Thursday and there's a lot of stuff going on, so we got to get it taken care of. I can still give you at least a few minutes of some good music, y'all. So here we go.
Nah, I ain't playing fair. Asked her why she staying there, she said she don't know. I had to ask her more, but I really had to go and get my bop on. Yeah, I get my bop on. If she needs some good, tell her she got hop on. She know I'm the top dog. I know she a hot one. Balenci's on the feet, and you know I got the socks on. Yeah, I get my bop on. Yeah, I get my bop on. If she needs some good, tell her she got hop on. She know I'm the top dog. I know she a hot one. Balenci's on the feet, and you know I got the socks on. She said with my hot sauce, she ain't with no knockoff. See them, we gon' pop off. Uber getting dropped off. Kicking in the door, we ain't knock on it. Ice on your beat, and you know it got the bop to it. Running up the streams like the stock market. They ain't with no beef, tell them stop talking. Rock a goatee like I'm Hulk Hogan. Put on R&B.
Lisa Noel, I love you too. I appreciate y'all so much.
I told her she could hop on it, bop on. Yeah, I get my bop on. If she needs some good, tell her she could hop on. She know I'm the top dog. I know she a hot one. Balenci's on the feet.
Nick, I appreciate that. You know it. I know.
Yeah, I get my bop on. If she needs some good, tell her she could hop on. She know I'm the top dog. I know she a hot.
Shout out Anna Hart. Good morning. I see you. Good morning, Anna. Lateef, I see you, brother. Good morning.
It's hard to keep up with your passion. So cool down, my love, cool down.
Y'all Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button on your way out. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. We appreciate y'all. Courtney, the SLP, good morning. Afternoon, I think it's evening where you are, Courtney, right?
My God, you got me in so much trouble now. Sometimes I just wanna tell you to stop, so you don't go and break my heart. I'm so confused, babe, I just don't know. So now I gotta make up my mind. Do I wanna leave it all behind? I can't let you go so easily, 'cause baby we got chemistry. We got something special, but you just let
Mark from Australia, I appreciate you. See you tomorrow. Jesse Minor, thank you so much for calling in, man. We appreciate your call today, too. All right, Courtney, that's what I thought.
then you are out like snow in the spring.
Ms. Nuru, I appreciate you.
I just want your time. I just want your time. Your time, oh, time. I need your time. 365, 24/7, I'll be fine. As long as you spend a little time. Just want your time.
All right, y'all, that is going to do it for your boy James Bubba Williams, DJ exclusive. We appreciate y'all so much again for tuning in today. We hope that y'all see, there we go. We hope that we see you again in the morning. Make sure that you tune in. 8:30 is going to go down, and make sure that you have your face in the place tomorrow. Patron party, y'all. See y'all in the morning. I just mixed it up. Like it or not, deuces.
Then you are out like snow in the spring. I just want your time.